everybody, how you all doing? Now today I'm in the kitchen, not to provide you with a new recipe, but to share with you 5 powerful diet tips that I used during my own body transformation to lose over 100 pounds in just 6 months, and that I've since shared with hundreds of thousands of people all around the world to also help them get into amazing shape. But today's diet tips is not going to be your normal kind of diet tips and tricks, because it's going to deal with the missing link in most diet programs out there today. See, most diet programs spend a lot of time on your macronutrient mix. What kind of protocol should you follow? Should it be an intermittent fasting or 6 meals a day? Should you follow a low carb, high fat diet, etc., etc.? All very important things. But if you don't stick to that diet and to all those amazing protocols and macronutrient mix and recipes, they are going to mean nothing. You will get 0 results. And that is why today's tips are actually going to deal with how to stick to your diet. And that's extremely important, and it really is amazing how few diet programs out there talks about this, especially when you consider that the fallout rate for people starting a new eating or diet program is close to 80% in the first 7 days. That means 8 out of 10 people who starts a new program won't make it past the first 7 days. And the reason is pretty simple. The diets they follow are complicated. It doesn't deal with how to stick to a diet, and they get frustrated and they just eventually drop out and stop following that diet. But today I'm going to share 5 tips with you that's going to allow you to stick to your diet long enough so that you can start getting some real results. Now, before we look at the very first thing, I just want to say this. These tips can be used with any diet you're following out there. And some of them might come across really simple and basic, but it is these kind of things that actually makes the difference between you getting results and you're not getting results. So it doesn't matter how simple it looks, and it doesn't matter what diet program you're following right now. If you are struggling to stick with it, then these tips will be able to help you. So the very first tip is to have what I call emergency meals ready. Now, these are meals that doesn't necessarily become part of your main diet. Also, it's normally things that might not be as healthy, but it's still healthier than if you would have had to go and eat some sweets. For me, for example, it is things like a packet of tuna, and I can probably show you what I have in the fridge here. See, I've got just packets of tuna like this, and this is actually a packet of salmon, and it has a lot of preservatives. But the point is, this one only expires like in about 6 months. That in itself tells you that there's probably preservatives in there that you probably don't want to eat on a regular basis. But for an emergency meal, they are perfect. High protein, high quality food right there. And then I also would have, for example, avos in my fridge, and you can easily mix the tuna and the avo, and you have a nice high protein, high fat meal. Then I also always have a bit of packet. We call this in South Africa biltong, but it's basically beef jerky, and it can normally last a week or 2 if you put it in the fridge. So also high protein that you can eat whenever you want. And right now that's all I have in my fridge, but I will also then have a protein powder, or I have oats. All things that last a long time that I can just put in my fridge or put in my cupboard, and that I know if I need an emergency meal because I just ran out of time. And life happens. We run out of time. Maybe we didn't have time to prepare our meals last night or cook in bulk or do any of those things, and you just need a quick meal to make sure you can stick to your diet and that it's not a meal that's going to completely destroy your results. That is where emergency meals comes in. So make sure you always have something around. Yes, these won't be the best and ultimate and freshest foods that you can eat, and you don't want to eat this on a regular basis, but it's things that can get you out of trouble when you ran out of time and you need an emergency meal. So the next tip is to keep your meals very similar for a day or 2, at least maybe every 24 hours. Let me explain this. Sometimes you get these amazing diets, and the diets themselves, there's nothing wrong with them, but you can see these people probably never had to use it themselves to actually get into shape or to stay in shape. Because when you look at the diets, the first meal has eggs, then the second meal, for example, has chicken breast, some avo, then the third meal you've got some salad and steak, then the 5th meal you have some fish and mixed veggies, etc., etc. Every single meal is different. And unless you are very rich and you have your own fitness chef working for you, or you have all the time in the world and all you can do all day is cook, you are going to find it very hard to cook a fresh piece of protein for every single meal. And the fact is, you can't have 5 different types of protein all bulk cooked in your fridge waiting to be used either. So an easy way to do it is to make sure you simply eat similar meals, or at least make sure your macronutrients are very similar for a day or 2. So for example, let's say you cooked some chicken in bulk. Then for your first, let's say 4 of the 5 meals you're eating, depending on what diet you're on. Let's say for this examples, we're using a 5-meal diet every single day. The first 4 meals, you have chicken as your main protein. Then maybe when you get home at night, you have some extra time and you want to cook a nice fresh piece of fish or steak or whatever. That is going to be much easier than trying to change it with every single meal. And then you can do the same with fats. Have some avo and just eat avo for your healthy fats for that whole day. Tomorrow you can use some olive oil over your salad, etc., etc. So by keeping your meals very similar for a day or 2, you're going to make it a hell of a lot easier on yourself. But make no mistake, you want to bring in different kinds of proteins, different kinds of fats. That is just good and healthy for you. So over the next day or 2, mix it up again. Or like I say, just make sure the bulk of your meals stays the same. And I'm not saying by this the same boring meal. I just mean keep your protein source similar, for example. But if you have chicken, for example, you can make a chicken salad. You can next make a chicken al greco, which we'll talk about in a second. So every meal can be different, but try and keep those macronutrients the same, because that's going to make it easy on yourself and is going to avoid another hurdle that can make you stop following your diet. The next tip is one I've talked about a lot before, but it's one that's worth mentioning again in this one, and that is cooking in bulk. Now, if you know me, I like to either, on the stove or on the barbecue, just cook a lot of chicken breast or a lot of steak or fish, and then I would keep it in the fridge and I will eat that for the next 2 or 3 days. Now, you've already heard that, and I've spoken about cooking in bulk a lot. So I actually want to talk about something else, because whenever I say you should cook in bulk, I always get people saying, but I don't just want to eat boring chicken breast and broccoli for the next 2 or 3 days. That's not what this is all about. It's about making sure the piece of protein that you need to have cooked, or whatever, it could be the fats, could be the carbs, the thing that you need to cook is already cooked and ready to eat. But, for example, click on this button here and you will see me make a meal called chicken al greco. That is made with already pre-made chicken breast that was cooked. And you will see it's a damn tasty meal. Now the thing is, just because you have chicken breast cooked beforehand doesn't mean you have to just eat boring chicken breast. You can use that chicken in a salad, or like in that meal, chicken al greco, or in anything else you want. It just means that that food is ready to be used, and in about 2-3 minutes you can heat it up and you can use it. You don't have to spend another 5 to 10 minutes cooking it from scratch, and that none of us have time for anyway. So cooking in bulk is extremely important and an easy way to make sure you have food ready you can quickly eat whenever you need to. And it doesn't mean you have to eat the same boring, dry piece of chicken breast with every single meal. It just means it's ready and you can then use that chicken in whatever different recipes or meal you want to use it in. But cooking in bulk is definitely going to save you a lot of time and make things a lot easier on yourself. Now the next tip I want to share is actually one that's going to help you not actually get tempted and fail or stop sticking to your diet or end up cheating and eating something unhealthy. And that is to make sure you've got nothing in your house that can actually tempt you. Get rid of anything unhealthy that could possibly make you fail or end up cheating and destroying your results. If you are anything with any food, like I am with chocolate, then make no mistake, there's nothing that will stop me not eating chocolate if it's in my house. However, if I get that urge or a craving for chocolate and I know I need to get in my car, drive to the nearest shopping mall, then that just gives me that 2 to 3 minutes to resist it even more, and I won't actually go and do it. And that's what this technique is all about. We can all get in a car and go buy unhealthy food, but if it's not in your house, it's not going to be something you can just reach and start eating. It's not going to be something that's going to destroy your diet on a daily basis, because it's just going to give you 2-3 minutes more to help you resist the temptation of eating something unhealthy. So simply make sure you get rid of anything in your house that you might be addicted to, like I am, or that you know can destroy your results if, for example, you didn't have a meal prepared or you just get hungry. Now, the other thing is, make sure you replace that, because sometimes we're just bored. We just want to sit in front of the TV and just eat. Replace it with something that you can eat. Something like, for example, I spoke earlier about my beef jerky, sometimes a little bit high in sodium, but it's still high quality protein, and it's not something that I'm going to eat a lot of. It's just something I can put in my mouth and chew. Same things with celery sticks or carrot sticks or anything that you can actually chew on that won't destroy your results. So first get rid of the bad stuff, but then also have something else, because sometimes we just want to put something in our mouth and chew it because we're bored or because we're watching TV or whatever. So get rid of the bad stuff and replace it with anything else that's low calorie. It's normally nice high in protein and something that's going to make sure that you stick to your diet and something that you can chew on all night long without it destroying your results. And then the last one, very important, is to get yourself into a routine with your meals, especially when you want to try and achieve something over a short period of time. Like, let's say you're following the 6weeksixpack.com challenge or the brx25.com challenge. If you are following a system and you want to get some amazing results over a 6 or 12-week period, it's great to get into a routine. If you are anything like me, maybe you hate routine. I hate doing the same thing every day. I just get bored and depressed if I know I have to do the same thing tomorrow. But when I want to take my body or I get ready for a photo shoot or anything like that, I get into a routine, because if I don't get into the routine, my whole preparation, my meals, my diet, my workouts, everything is just a mess. But when you get into a routine, you know I'm going to work out at this stage, I'm going to eat breakfast here, I'm going to eat lunch here, I'm going to do this for dinner. If you do that and you get into a routine, you make things so much easier for yourself. And like I say, sometimes life happens, but that is when we have the emergency meals and the other things we spoke about earlier in this video. But try and get into a routine and try and stick to that routine as much as possible, because it's going to help you get much better results and it's going to make things a lot easier for yourself, even when it comes to planning. If you already know tomorrow at 12 o'clock I'm eating lunch, then you can prepare for it and you know what to prepare for it and what meal to make and what you're going to eat. So there you go, guys. Maybe a little bit different than what you were expecting. This is not about the actual diet or how powerful a diet is, because none of that matters if you're not going to stick to it. These 5 tips has helped me during my own transformation. I share these tips with everybody who does any of my products. And the fact is that it's extremely important to learn how to put things in place that's going to help you stick to your diet. Because if you don't stick to your diet, it doesn't matter how powerful it is, you're not going to get results. But these 5 tips has helped me a lot, and I know it's going to help you a lot. As always, click on the like button if you like this video, and if you have a comment or maybe you have any other tips that's helped you during your transformation, feel free to share it below and let's have a chat. Until next time, guys, bye-bye.